Commence primary ignition.
Hey,
Hello.
Hello. Good evening.
ladies' night.
It is, isn't it?
But we'll let Mark in too. So no.
Yeah.
One of us.
We're so glad we finally get to meet you, Mark. Oh my gosh. all the episodes have gone by and we've not had a face-to-face conversation about this yet. I am dying.
I know.
I'm dying.
Yeah, I'm excited to do this because with the scheduling kerfuffle last week, I was on Thursday because I was at Chiller. And I'm going to miss next Friday too because I'm going to be in Knoxville, but I'll be back for the finale.
What? You're gonna
I know.
miss the appearance of K2SO.
I know.
My guy,
And you know,
my dear,
Are you
beloved.
Are
My
we
second
confirmed
is
that he's coming
favorite.
next week?
Episode 8.
Okay.
That's what JB tells me. He says that's what he heard on the scuttlebutt during Star Wars Celebration is that episode 8, because Tony was talking about it with Alan on stage on one. I don't know if it was a panel or the main stage, but he was talking about that it was, that he's kind of a scene stealer and that the droid is not only clunky physically to carry around, but that he's really clunky to move from, he just moves through all the scenery, right? So he's like, if you notice, he's not in that many scenes in Rogue One. Like they were very particular about where they used him. He didn't just clunk along for the fun of it, and so he's promising us, exactly. He doesn't just roll along next to you. Yeah. He promised Alan and promised us that it would be worth the wait. So it had better be after these last 6 episodes. It had better be darn well worth the wait.
For real.
Is all I have to say.
Yes. Because I love K2SO.
Yeah, he's right there with Chopper. Those two. He was my favorite until I met Chopper. So yeah.
We have the snarky boys. It's
Absolutely.
A2,
It's the only way droids
Chopper,
are any
and
fun.
AP5.
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 Yeah, it's the only way they're really any fun. Yeah.
Yeah, AP5 is good people. He's also a snarky bitch. Look, snarky droids are the answer. So tonight, now that we have all the ladies, we are deep into Andor. We're halfway done, which is crazy that we're at the halfway point for Andor.
Already.
I'm not ready.
There's so much trauma. But the ladies have some moments throughout, and specifically in this episode there are like numerous. I was like making a list of the things I wanted to talk about, but I want you guys to just like drive through it for everyone because oh man, the ladies are being put through the ringer this season.
Okay, can we stop with like killing off awesome people during heists? Like, just stop right now. I'm tired of it.
Yes.
Like, we get that here.
Mark,
we get that in Rogue One. Like last season with Andor, with
last season.
poor Nemec. Stop.
Mark, I heard your table flip all the way from New York.
Yeah. Like, no!
Which is that happened at the end of this episode. I could hear it. Yeah.
Yeah, and my husband more so than me. He's actually not enjoying this season that much. I have to whisper.
Oh, really?
So we loved season 1. It's our favorite thing. And season 2, I actually don't think is living up to season 1. I think it's too fast. And I think it's because they're trying to do too much with the time periods. Like, I think everything needed to have a little more breathing room. That being said, I still like it. I still like it a lot. I am annoyed about a couple of the choices that were made because, especially with Cinta, the trope of bury your gays is like very much a thing, and the other trope of just like dead women in Star Wars and Disney in particular is also a thing, and so that's an intersection that I'm just like tired of seeing.
Right.
Or I guess those are two things that I'm tired of seeing, and now they're intersecting in one of my favorite shows. So that really like left me on a sour note. So
really,
yeah, I don't know how you guys felt about that.
No, I did. I was like, things are finally good. They were talking it out. They were communicating instead of
Mhm.
just like, we have to put the rebellion first. They kind of let down their guard. They realized that
Mhm.
things are
Mhm.
more important. And then, snap, there goes the rug out from underneath them. And I was so pissed. I'm like, can
Yeah.
they just let a couple be happy? Like,
No.
seriously, they have to rip it to shreds.
Yeah, no, I was pretty mad about that too. Yeah, unfortunately, all my cynicism was flaring big time. I was like, as soon as I got to bed, I'm like, well, one of them's gonna die. I'm like,
Yep.
this is. I was surprised how fast it happened. I was surprised how fast. I did not think it was gonna happen in the exact same episode. But yeah,
They
Mm.
Yeah, that hurt.
telegraph it early when they say
Yeah.
that only the two of them are supposed to have blasters, and then that stupid kid brings a blaster.
Yeah, I knew
Um,
someone was going to do it. I knew someone was going to do it, and
Mhm.
it was absolutely heartbreaking because I watched these in the morning, and then Jay comes home at work after work at night on Wednesday night, and I watch it again just to be sure that I'm ready for the YouTube show. And so
Mhm.
I knew it was coming. And the second time around, it was way more obvious. Like I could see all the death flags, and I was like, I don't know how I missed this. Maybe I was just in denial. But
Mhm.
he was waiting for it, and then I could see him kind of nodding his head out of the corner of my eye, and then the camera cuts over, and Vilga's running, and I literally heard him go, "Oh no!" Like he thought it was going to be Enza. He thought it was going to be Caro's daughter, is what was going to happen,
Mm.
and that was the cause of
Oh.
the confederation. He literally did not see it coming. I mean, I heard the heartbreak. I heard
Yeah.
the
Like,
heartbreak.
honestly,
so it
that
was
would
pretty
have
bad.
made sense because it would have been like, okay, this is why we're here. This is why we're teaching you how to do this.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
So,
Jason brings up a point that, sets
oh,
up
for
Vel's
real.
speech. That
Mhm.
Ah,
just
she's
brings it all down to, this is,
slated.
something you're going to carry with you forever.
Mm.
And it's
Almost
on
worse.
you.
Almost worse than
Almost with,
being
and I
killed.
did really, yeah, it spoke volumes to me about this being a woman talking to a childish, foolish little boy, basically. Someone who was all gung ho and brought his own weapon, and
And
yeah,
also,
it
it
spoke to
annoyed
me on
me.
many, many levels. Yeah,
It annoyed me that the guy who started all this shit was carrying her body. And I'm like, I'm so annoyed. Anyway,
really,
yeah.
I thought that was I thought that was
I
I
saw
thought
him
it was a nice
stepping up.
gesture. I kind of saw it as that this was the only way he could make up for what had happened.
I thought it was metaphorical baggage. He's like literally carrying the trauma with him now forever. Like I
Yeah.
think it's that
Mm,
heavy-handed. Either way,
mm,
I like where you were going, and I want to get Sherry's opinion on this because I'm sure you've crossed a fool or two in your time. The
Mhm.
childish men in this show who need to be um, spoken to like children from the women in their lives, and I think we saw a few examples of this. Clea with Luthen, Mon Mothma with her f boy of a husband, Perrin. Certainly, Vel dealing with that child. And then the way
mhm.
Deirdre controls Cyril. There's a lot of actually
I'm like,
women in
whoa.
power over these men in interesting ways. And I wanted to
All
get your sort
different
of take
ways
on that.
too.
Different ways too. Yeah. What did you ladies
Yeah.
think?
Well,
Honestly, it's refreshing.
Sherry?
Because, girl, I'm tired. No, like,
What do
think
you
about
think,
it.
Sherry?
Like, go ahead.
I don't know.
Sorry, we put her on the spot. Whoops, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Ash. Sorry.
No,
Jeez.
it's just it's wild to me because like I would first of all I was I was not expecting the shenanigans from Cyril and Dedra. I was like, oh, okay. Like,
Yeah, kink official kink couple. I think they might be the
Uh-huh.
first in Star Wars. I'm like, all right, then. Yeah, that I was not expecting. That I was not expecting.
yeah, that was pretty funny, but it also like made me sad because we finally get to like and they're not like beat you over the head girl power moments like we saw in Endgame and Marvel's
Mhm,
Avengers Endgame, like that she has help and we all pose in front of the
mhm.
bad guys.
Girls
It
get it
wasn't
done
Yeah, it
from the
wasn't one of
boys.
those moments. It was refreshing to me. So it's
Mhm.
like, okay,
Mhm.
these are women I'm based on the lack of complaining I've been seeing during about this during Andor's
Yeah.
run for season 2. It's coming under a lot of people's radar, and I kind of like it because it's not smack you over the head with it.
Mhm.
It's not.
That's what I was
heavy-handed.
first afraid of. That was my first thought. Is I was like, ooh, I can already hear the toxic fandom coming for
Nothing
this.
though.
You know what I mean? Like, I was, but I have not seen or heard much of it, and so hopefully that's a tip to the writers and to the
Backstage.
variety of the interactions. You know that that it is making its point without being, superhero pose in your face kind of thing. Yeah.
Mhm.
Probably the strongest one is Clea, the way she stands up to Luthen. I mean, she keeps him in check, and it's like, no, this has to be done. This is what we have to do.
She's very like
That's
precision, and he can get emotional about this, and she keeps him in check.
It's interesting how
I
logical
li-
and cold and direct she is, and then how emotional he gets. It's definitely
he
they're
does get
flipping the script.
emotional. He
He
does get
does.
emotional in a way, but
Yeah.
my favorite, she does too in a way. But then she's finally like, "Are you done? Are you done? Okay, you've had your little snit fit. Now let's get to work. We got some shit to do. Let's do this."
I had
Yeah.
2 favorite scenes in the whole episode, and we'll get to them as we get to them. But while we're talking about Clea, Sherry, her explaining the bowl to the Imperial spy, like on her
Lonnie.
name, Lonnie. Yeah. I was like,
Lonnie
it's not
Young.
Manny. I'm obsessed.
Not our girl Lonnie, but
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is,
You got another.
I tell you, Lonnie, who's on the page quite a bit, and she was just overjoyed that she says, there's a character that's named the same as me.
Mhm.
I love it.
yeah,
Representing Star Wars.
Different
Love it.
spellings, but she
Yeah,
was just
yeah.
overjoyed.
I like him a lot. I thought the party scene was excellent. I thought the heist on Eldani, or not on Eldani, the heist on Gorman was excellent.
Gorman.
I thought Bix's we'll call it the stinger scene, like the final scene was amazing. She's been through too much though. But so I think a lot of those things hit. I'm glad that we're in the 3 spot, that like we can talk about the totality of the arc, because I think the 3rd episode
Yes.
brings together a lot of things. Like seeing Mon Mothma go toe to toe with Krennic and not only not back down, she was like not having it. Yeah, I was loving
Yeah.
that. I was like, we got
And-
more of them in a scene together at all times.
yeah,
And very
like
subtly, the jerk, her husband,
the jerk.
I mean, just by his body language, he stepped up to her and he's looking at Krennic straight in the face. And to me, that's saying like he's supporting her
Yeah.
for once.
He's better
It
this
was
season.
really interesting. Yeah, it was really interesting when they were in the car, because I was almost all through of the first season and even the first few episodes of the season, I'm like, what does he do? Like, she's a senator. They're not senators together. She obviously has the money at the Mothma estate, for heaven's sakes. What does he do? What does he do? And I said to Jay, I'm like, okay, now we finally see it. That's what he does. He's the
party
little
planner.
social lotto climber, right? He's the one that he knows we can skip this, we can shorten that, we can't miss this, and that he's always done it. He's always done it. He's the one that wiggles his way in and basically pays her political credit to the right people.
Hey,
you know?
Jonathan.
And I was just fascinated. I was like, wow.
Hey, Jonathan.
Wow.
Okay. So, Sarah, you're a military spouse. It's not exactly the same as a political spouse, but I'm sure you've been to places where the person who has the career, whether male or female, opts into a public life of servitude and a public life of scrutiny. And then the spouse has like the thankless job of being first lady, and that comes with the Easter egg role and all the other stupid shit that
Exactly.
America does with that role, right? They don't get to do anything of substance necessarily, but they're the party planner and the person who like makes sure the garden is good, like that kind of crap. He's
And
that man.
woe betide
He's the
if,
first
yes,
dude.
woe betide
Yeah.
if you don't do it. He is, absolutely. Yeah, it was actually painful watching some of the stuff he did. I was like, oh, sweetie, been there.
Right.
I
And that's
know
what
your
I think
pain.
is
I know your pain.
the been there thing. I think I said that 6 times, like in that last arc, where I was like, oh, been there. Like this show is almost too relatable. And also in the current political crisis and climate, I think that we're in a like an accidentally too relatable situation as well. Which is why I think it's hitting in a particular way for people. Yeah, but
Oh, yeah.
I got a
agree.
kick out of Perrin.
So many parallels.
So I have like
Yeah,
a really
like
cool thing.
parallels.
Oh yeah, completely, like across the board. But getting back to what I was saying earlier about, not seeing any, at least from my perspective, we were warned, I don't want to say warned, but we were notified in advance that a character actor, one of the actors playing a character in this episode, was going to be substituted with another well-known actor
Yes.
due to scheduling issues. So that was revealed. Jimmy Smits had scheduling conflict, could not play Bail Organa in this episode. I almost said Basil Oregano.
I did not know that. I did not know that.
Yeah, so I read it
didn't know it.
somewhere. It
It was a
didn't say
complete
who
shock
it
to me.
was, but I was
Yeah.
prepared for a jarring
It's a
change.
total shock. I was not. My jaw just on the ground.
And I was talking to a friend about this, and I was like, this is really well done. You have not only an actor of a really good actor, a really great actor. I've seen him in like numerous stuff, Miss Congeniality. We've seen Benjamin Bratt and Doctor Strange, Law and Order. Like, he's got substance, and he's a nerd, obviously, because he's in the MCU. But he is a Hispanic descent, like Jimmy, and he's filling in as Bale, and it wasn't jarring. It wasn't like replacing him with a white dude. It was done really, really intelligently and really thoughtful. And I liked it so much. Like, if they're going to have anybody cover for Jimmy in this, perfect casting, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And I had read where Tony Gilroy, explained that, they tried very hard to get Jimmy and it just couldn't work out. And so because Bale is going to have a big part in the next arc, it's going to include that Gorman massacre, that they wanted to introduce him in this little small bit, in this arc, so that the fans could get used to it.
Right.
And get all their talking out about it before he does play that bigger part.
Yeah, I don't know. I finally saw something. Jeff, you're terrible.
Thanks, Jeff.
I saw something that finally encapsulated. It's perfectly okay to be sad, disappointed, and even a little heartbroken that Jimmy Smits isn't there, and simultaneously love Benjamin Bratt. And that's where I'm at. I still like I said, I didn't know it was coming. So like a little piece of my soul died.
You're like, oh,
they both walked on the screen. It wasn't Jimmy. I was just like, no.
Jimmy's very tall.
Oh my god.
And very broad-shouldered, which was, I admit, it's a little bit okay.
It was a little, yeah. I mean, it was perfectly well done. It was perfectly well done. But to me, it's going to be hard for me to see him as Bail Organa and not see him as somebody playing Bail Organa. Does that make sense?
Right.
It just kind of, it's like anytime I listen to anybody trying when Palpatine is not Ian McDiarmid. I'm like, it's not bad. I don't hate it. I'm just like, oh look, someone's playing the Emperor. Like it just doesn't. Yeah. Or Tim Curry or whatever. Yeah. So I hope I can wrap my head around it before the next arc, because it made me stumble.
I do think the Gorman massacre being in the next arc is obviously something we've been heading toward for a while now, and I think going into the series,
know that was the next one.
It
based on
happened
the
in BB2.
Is it going to be a flashback?
BB2. Well, there's 2 Gorman massacres, so here's the confusion. So in Legends, originally,
yeah.
Well, one of them in Legends was Tarkin landing the thing, and now they've made that canon by talking about why. That's why there's a memorial out there. So more shit's going to go down on Gorman. So Gorman Massacre 2, the sequel, Electric Boogaloo, is headed our way in 2 BBY.
Well, they call it Tarkin. They call the first one 16 years ago Tarkin Massacre.
Yeah.
So that's how I was able to tell the difference between the two.
Weird.
And I think that the in-universe, that's the in-universe answer to that, and it also helps like wipe the canon and make it correct and all that crap. What we will know is the Gorman Massacre, the thing that triggers Mon Mothma's speech is going to be that we saw in Rebels, will be in 2 BBY based on the Rebels chronology. So that's next week. And with that in mind, here's the thing. We watched Rebels, and yes, Bale was a part of that in some way.
And Erskine.
Sure, but here's the thing, so is Hera, so is Ezra, so is Sabine.
Well,
I don't necessarily need to see them. I don't know if you need to recast anyone. You just say that they're not there at the moment. You can name drop
my theory
Bale.
is if they show Mothma doing any of the speech, we're going to see it as a hologram. Somebody else
we did
watching
in Rebels.
it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that way, that takes out that we don't have to see the ghost crew. Of
Yeah,
course, in one of the
agreed.
trailers where they're coming into Yavin 5, one of the ships coming in looks like the ghost to me.
Hmm.
Mm.
It could happen. I think if there's any place to drop some Easter eggs next week is the one where it will happen because it so intersects with Rebels that you can get any of
Mhm.
those people. Here's the thing: I don't need to see little Leia. I didn't need to see Bale. I don't need to see Bale next week. Benjamin Bratt is fine. I also think that
Mhm.
if people can't do the role or people are dead, Tarkin, shoot around them, name drop them, but continue on. I have friends in my life who are
Yeah.
very very close to me that I don't physically see for a while, right? Even you guys, if we were doing something like set in New York, you wouldn't be here. You might be on a hologram, but there's in-universe reasons as to why we might not see these people without creating this kerfuffle online. Because now
Right.
I feel like it's taken
Yeah.
over the discourse. I'd rather talk about how
Yeah.
I'm tired of the universe destroying Bix. This poor girl is on just a
Mhm.
torture train. I'm over it.
Mhm. Speaking
Yep.
of holograms, one thing that really bugged me is that in all of Star Wars before, we've seen how they communicate via holograms. Yet here, Cyril and his mother have a FaceTime call.
Oh, they do have, yeah, they have a real TV kind of thing. Yeah.
And that just bugged me.
hmm There's a screen in Empire
Interesting.
Strikes Back that I always reference, because Vader chokes the
Mhm.
guy through the screen. There's a few instances of that, but it is very rare. It's very,
Yeah.
very, very rare.
Mhm.
I wonder if that
Mhm.
channel is supposed to be kind of secure because it's going from Imperial facility out to Coruscant. That might be the
Right.
reason. Holograms
Yeah.
can't be traced, but this can be part of the Imperial communication. He mentioned something about how the signal can't be dropping out
It's an
because it's
imperial line.
Imperial.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yes.
he's like, it's an imperial signal. It should be good.
Yeah.
That
Or
was
Do you
kind of my
have
compromise.
it?
thought, is that this was because she wasn't familiar with it. She couldn't figure out how to make it work. So to
Mm,
me, I thought it
Is it
was
new
a,
tech?
here, mom, this is how you're going to communicate with me
Yeah.
while I'm on Gorman. You know what I
Oh
mean?
my God,
Yeah.
it's the
So,
iPhone. It's the new tech. Your mom doesn't know how to use it yet.
oh, I thought it
That's
was old tech. I thought it was old techy. Is what I thought. It was she's like, what is this contraption? But then
yeah.
we did see Bix watching TV. So I don't know. Maybe there is some version of television. I don't know.
But
That
we
was
also have
weird.
And
Dedra
what
talking to
fun
Cyril
of her
too.
watching TV.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I was cracking up at it was very Hunger Games,
Oh,
colorful
very.
Yes,
outfit, big
that's what I
wigs.
thought of Effie
hmm
right away.
Mhm.
Without a doubt.
They even had
And then you see
if it
Bix lying
right
on the bed or the couch or whatever, and there's the empty takeout
takeaway.
boxes on the floor
Mhm.
and all the trash.
That
It's
poor
like
Oh.
she's
lady,
just
she's been
passed
through
out.
so much.
I was like, no, she's a drop head.
Yeah.
Quoting Batman.
I was like, oh, there we go. She's strung out on drops.
Mhm.
Okay, got it.
Everyone's got their own type of drugs this episode because there was a lot of drinking. We had Saw's whole mission was about getting that gas, which
Oh
I don't
my
even want to get into that.
god. We'll get into
Um,
that, but
yeah.
Jesus.
Meanwhile, I want to come back to the party scene real quick because otherwise
Yeah.
I'm going to forget. I guess we're going to watch it, so we'll see it. But the skinny
Mhm.
little twink who gets assigned to go on the special mission and ends up at the party, and you can overhear him
That
saying,
was
"It's
so
my third
excited
drink."
with his little
So
collie
excited.
coolers. Yeah.
Oh my God, I love everything about it. And you know that Lonnie went to
Mhm.
lunch with him being like, I'm gonna flirt with
Oh
this
yeah.
guy to get the information I need. So I'm
Oh yeah. And
watching
that's
that
how.
play out.
And yeah, he spilled it. I mean, that's how Bix
Mhm.
and Cassian were able to figure out where Gorst was.
Yeah.
Was
And that
because
Deirdre Mira
Lonnie
was
was
running
pumping.
Gorman. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. We saw
Well,
that.
one thing
Absolutely.
I
We
was
saw that.
wondering,
Yeah.
was Gorst part of the original mission? I mean, the mission was for them to blow up the building, and was Gorst just a lucky coincidence, or did
No,
did
I don't think.
Luthen
No.
find out that?
No, because the second time through when I watched it, when Cassian shows up and confronts Luthen, he said, "If you want my blood, you help me make this right. You find a way to help me." And then we had that Lonnie was having lunch with I don't even know what his name is, the cute little guy from the ISB.
Yeah.
And then because he talks about that. This is after Partagaz pulls them aside and says, Dr. Gorst is now being housed at a naval facility. You're our person, you're our communication, you're going to keep him straight and everything. The only way that Cassian and Bix could have gotten that information was Lonnie passing it to Luthen.
hmm
Okay,
Yep.
So
I'm gonna keep
that
calling
was
him
the canon
Forty Twink.
that built in my head. I know I don't feel like I'm allowed to use that word. So you have to come up with something else.
Hold on, I'm gonna pull up the cast list so we can. All right, so looking at episode
Okay.
6, obviously we've got Diego and everyone else. is it Chloris? No. Paracinta. I'm trying to find him on the list. Oh, is it Tazi? Is that him? I think it's Tazi.
Is he the
Dazi
one
was
that
the
has
Senator
the
Gorman.
extreme cheekbones, kind of like Tarkin?
Yeah.
Dazi
Lee
was the
Monsters.
senator to Gorman. DASI was his name.
Yeah.
Yep.
That Mon Mothma was trying to get his votes on. But
A whole bunch of people. No, that's not him. Damn it! All right, I can't figure this out. I'll do that on some while we're watching. Once we get started, because we're gonna start the episode in the next 2 minutes, and then as we're going through, we can actually look at the. I'll get a cast list, because on IMDb it wasn't immediately clear who it was, but I do love the party episode. I think everyone really delivers, especially Clea. I think like she is the MVP of the episode. That
I've
whole
never
thing
been so
around the
anxious
table.
waiting for a key to turn in my whole life.
Oh my
I've
god!
never been
No.
that anxious and wound up over a freaking key in my.
Well,
So
and the
tense.
way
bad.
they kept going back and forth between two very tense situations, and where the one was very chaotic on Gorman,
I was
and
coming up out of
then-
my seat. I was like, "Oh, this is not good."
and this
not
one
good,
was just
not
kind
good.
of like the quiet, just buildup of, is she going to be able to get that key turned?
hmm
And the blood running down her hand.
And weirdly enough, her situation seems somehow tenser than what was going on with the heist, which is crazy, because it's so simple. But I like that Lonnie has to like listen to her and like follow instructions and
Oh
like
my god!
it's
I was like,
tough.
"How is this little dork an Imperial spy? He is irritated." I'm like, "Shut up and do as you're told.
Mhm.
Quit freaking out and whinging in front of everybody. What is wrong with you? I'm like,
So-
get it together, man."
Well, I was watching Screen Crush, and he pointed out at the very beginning that when Clea said to him, she was basically,
it is Corv.
oh, is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
The the cover story that Clea originally had for him was that he had visited the store shopping for something for his wife. Now the callback is that he originally told Luthen that he wanted to step away from the rebellion or take some time because his wife and kid or whatever family, and so
Just had a baby.
they're believing that Clea name dropping the wife means I'm threatening you right now.
Oh
Like I
yeah.
know, like I didn't think of that. I thought that she was legitimately saying out loud, like, "Here's our cover story, go with it." Like, and it wasn't a threat. So now I'm like even more impressed with her being like, "Oh shit, like this lady don't play."
She's awesome. I love
She's
Clay.
so awesome. Oh
Mm.
yeah, it's gosh. I loved seeing, like, obviously we have Krennic come in and just like kind of sticking his nose where it doesn't belong, and Mon just standing up to him. It's like, oh, I can't believe I get to see you without a witness stand in front of you or something like that. I'm like,
Just to see you
dude,
outside the witness stand. Yeah, I mean, just no fear. Just no fear. It was amazing.
And
none.
did you notice whenever that Krennic was talking, it was like extreme close up?
Oh yeah, the tension was there.
It's like
Mhm.
made it more threatening.
I
to
also
me.
love that, like, you can see it in our backdrop behind us. Like, Luthen's just like, ah, as all this stuff is
He
going on.
just keeps smiling. Ha ha ha. Krennic is so funny. Krennic is so funny. Yes. Encourage him. Egg him on so he doesn't turn around and pay attention to what Clay is doing. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, let's get this going. Come on,
Well, look,
Clea.
I think that the thumbnail on Disney Plus and the thumbnail that we picked to be our overlay sums it up. Like that's how I felt about Mon Mothma the whole time. I was like right in the face of Krennic, and then even Luthen after he and Clea leave are like, we should have just killed Krennic. And I was like, girl, there would have been
Oh,
no
God,
original
You have
trilogy or nothing.
no idea.
Yeah, it's like
I
you have
know.
no idea
Yeah, I
what's
did.
coming.
I flinched. Yeah, I was like, oh, I hope they're both dead before the Death Star happens, so they don't have to look back on that and think, gee, maybe that wasn't funny.
That's the kind of thing
Oh.
where like you have to wonder
Oh.
how will people suffer their consequences and what will they witness? Because I think that Deidre Miro and Cyril could accidentally get like stationed on the Death Star as like a big promotion kind of thing and be like, oh, they're so excited about it, because Cyril's like, finally, he was so thrilled to have even like the slightest
Oh, that
acknowledgement.
scene was so uncomfortable. That
Oh
was so uncomfortable.
God.
And when Partagas says, when he's like, they're eager but inexperienced, he's like, amazing how often those two traits go together. Like, looking right at him, and I'm like, oh, Cyril,
Oh,
sweetie,
no.
love. He's
Yeah.
insulting you, honey. Yeah, like,
Yeah.
oh God, what are you
Now,
doing?
at this point, do you think he knows about Cyril and Dedra? Like, I know they weren't
Oh
supposed to
yeah.
discuss anything about
Well,
their
he knows that Deirdre is manipulating him through this relationship and using him, which I'm perfectly fine with because they're both terrible.
Mhm.
But like Cyril knows very little. Cyril knows that he's doing espionage work for something that he thinks is like probably relatively benign, and then he doesn't
Mhm.
know that they're going to eventually blow
Just
up the
catching
planet.
bad guys. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
Yeah, just
Which is what
catching
his
them.
original mission was. I keep reminding people that like Cyril's like sort of he started not
Yeah.
as a hero but not as a villain. Like he wanted to catch a murderer. Like his intentions in the
Yeah.
original episodes was
He
that
becomes
someone died on his watch.
very focused on that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like
Yeah.
there's good in him. He's not a dark side character. Deirdre Miro is a dark side character.
He's
Cyril,
he's been sort of like blinded by the Empire's, order is good, and like he's kind of fallen into that trap,
Mhm.
and it's
Yeah.
sort of appealing to his sense of rightness and justice. And I just have to say, I'm going to throw this out here now, I could be wrong. I think he's going to figure out what they're doing on Gorman before the end, and I think that's going to cause a rift between the two of them.
I agree. Let's
I
stop
think he's going
there.
to figure it out, and he's going to be truly horrified by it.
Yes, I agree, and I want to
Where
bring
Judge
that
was
up
like,
to-
whatever, fine, I don't care,
Yeah.
whatever, it had to happen, it was done, it needed to be done at all costs, and he's like, no, 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 no.
Yeah.
I think that's it's nice to know he has a line somewhere, but yeah, I think that's finally gonna push him, one step too far.
I 100% agree. And I want to get to that as the episode happens. So, everyone,
Yeah.
cue up your Disney Plus machines. We are in Andor
Mhm.
Season 2, Episode 6. What a
Episode-
festive evening.
What a festive evening.
Festive evening. What a fucked up evening is what it is. What an effing evening.
That's
So-
the wrong F, man.
Yeah, that's right.
Wrong
Yeah,
F.
F the Empire. Remember, that's our sign off too, is F the Empire. All right, I'm going to press the countdown and then we hit play and go. Okay. So a couple questions to pose to the group as we go through. Has Bix suffered enough? And we'll get
Dear
to
God.
these. These are just some questions that I have, some thought starters, but I want you guys to throw out your own questions
Yep.
too if you have them. Will Cyril find out what's going on? And if he does, will he, to Sarah's point, potentially be horrified by it and maybe even take some action, like say that I can't do this or leave Deirdre or join the rebels? Like, I think there's actual potential for him because he believes
hope
in
so.
law above morals. Like, he can't distinguish. Like, he thinks legal equals moral, and I think he's going to be challenged with that, like, soon. So there's that. Will Luthen learn how to care about people? And did he learn to care about people in this episode? Is that what that ending showed us? I don't know.
No, he was
Bix going
doing
to kill next?
Luthen gave that to Bix because he knew that keeping her busy was what's going to keep her on
It's
target.
the only way to keep Cassian. It was the only way to get Cassian really, truly 100% invested, was to make sure Bix was too.
Yep, everyone's
Also, how
loyal to him.
awesome did he look in this episode? Like,
Oh my god, the costumes. As a
Oh.
costume maker, I am jealous.
Very in the sky. Hello.
Yeah.
Woo. That was adorable. The little bit between him and Bix over Varian. I
Oh,
was
I
like,
know.
that was so cute. Bring
Yeah,
him home
Cassian
sometime,
in
but yeah.
his designer wear.
The fits in the in the designer fits.
Can we give them all the
Hello.
Emmys?
Mm.
All the Emmys.
they need to.
Please.
Like,
I hope
seriously.
so.
I really hope someone also makes a Gorman spider. I don't know like what product category that would be, but like I need one. Like
Look,
I just need a Gorman spider.
This was a real struggle for me, guys. No, I don't want any spiders. If you put one more in my face, watching Edie play with that thing just about did me in.
I found the best meme. You will
about did
totally
me.
appreciate this, Sarah.
No, do not send me any spider pictures, Ashlee. Do not do that. No. Stop it. Nope.
These are my spider's mother from Army.
Oh boy. Clea yelling at Luthen.
Oh, dead.
Yep. Yep.
I'm serious. These episodes so far have been so damn memeable. It's not even funny.
The memes are memeing. And I don't know if it's just that meme culture is a thing, that everything can become a meme, but also Cyril is a highly memeable character. And so is Deirdre Miro, too. I mean, all of them have this like potential for humor that is very unintentional to them, but from the outside looking in, it's like these people are lunatics in like the best possible
Yeah,
way.
it's really funny.
For
Yeah.
real.
I agree.
So in the last two episodes, like the setup for all of this, of course, is that the the Gorman situation is getting worse. Cassian went over there to investigate, found out that the Gormans are annoyed by the Imperial occupation, but they don't know what to do, so they're very inexperienced, and
Mhm.
basically said, "I'm not helping these people because they were." I think the phrase he used is they were starting late, so now they're trying to rush to catch up, and that doesn't
Yeah.
get you
Yep.
there. So
It's not
Luthen, on the other
preparation.
hand, is an accelerationist. He thinks it needs to go further, so the Empire will try to squish them, squish again,
Yeah.
like they did before, because it'll trigger a bigger response from other planets. Because this is a wealthy, influential planet. You can
Right.
do whatever you want
Yes,
out on
exactly.
Ferrix because it's like
Yep.
outer rim.
It's a
This is
backwater, or even
Mhm.
Alani or Aldani. Yeah,
yeah,
even there, but yeah, this back and forth between the two of them just very clearly differentiates. The thinking as a soldier, you need to think as a leader.
yeah,
Like this is not just because Cassian does not want to help these people
no,
because it will cause them to die painfully and horribly and terribly. It's not going to go well, and he cares about what happens to them. And Lucian's like, I care about the optic. I care about the bigger picture. I care about this wealthy, influential, successful planet in open rebellion against the Empire. That's what
mhm,
we need. Screw the outcome.
It's almost like Cassian wants to work with a scalpel and Luthen wants to work with a wrecking ball.
mhm. Which is how Deidre's very scalpel too. And then, yeah, like you can
Mhm.
identify everyone on this like scale of who's sort of the big swing. I also think that like Cassian is so much more people oriented versus structure oriented that he's
Right.
like, I don't want to risk the lives of these individual people, even if it will have a longer term effect. Because you also can't guarantee that that longer term effect. Like you can't do that math, right? Like if I sacrifice this small group of people on Gorman, will it save millions of people down the road? We don't know. Like, there's no way to know what's going to
Mhm.
happen. Like, no one could have predicted how the Clone Wars was going to end up. Even as we watch the prequels, knowing where it ended up, like how it got there and all the ins and outs, like it's kind of a lot.
Well,
Um,
Palpatine knew. Palpatine knew,
yeah, he did. He was
and
the
that
one.
was
Mhm.
the thing. Yeah,
Oh my God.
yeah.
What's the
Yep.
line from? I think it was the last episode. If the Emperor knew what was being done on his behalf, and I'm thinking, like, he's the one pulling the
Yeah.
strings. How does no one know? This man shoots lightning out of his hands. Ah! Like, that kills me that no one
Mhm.
Yeah,
understands the
he
big man
doesn't
at the top is
understand
the evil one.
he's not. Yeah, he's not aware of what's being done on his behalf. And I was
Yeah.
like, son, a shadow government knows how he is doing what they're told. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Lonnie says, does this make him much different from the Empire with the Death Star destroying whole
Well,
planets?
this is the great parallel, right? We're supposed to look at Saw Gerrera and the Empire was actually a very easy comparison, right? And we see it in Cold Blood here, where
Mhm.
Saw just kills someone. But now that you're looking at the head of the
Mhm.
rebellion, Luthen, and he's getting closer and closer to that. I always talk about how politics isn't linear; it's circular because you
Mhm.
both meet at a place of burn it all down. You want to burn it all down from the right, or you want to burn it all down from the left. It still ends in flames, right? Like
Mhm.
anarchy versus fascism, like still going to get you to a large like place of like violence and chaos. So yeah, I think that's an interesting philosophical question. You should throw that at the unifying force and see what they have to think.
Cool.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So I didn't know, maybe I did, but I'd forgotten. Stellan Skarsgård has had a stroke
Really?
before
Oh.
season 1. So when he did the monologue, like the whole you know, plant trees for shades I'll never get to see, things like
Mhm.
that. He had an earpiece that was reading the lines to him because it's so involved and it's a lot to say and he has to deliver it right that he just wanted to make sure that he got it right.
Hmm. He's
Interesting.
incredible in this show.
Mm.
Mhm.
Yeah, he really is.
I still think the MVP of the entire series, though, is still Genevieve. Every scene she's in, although Clay has given her a run
Mhm.
for her money on this little arc because this is
Yes.
her episode. Like, if you were going to say, like, who owns each episode, Clay really seemed to, like, not only put Luthen in his
Yeah.
place, but, like, stay calm under pressure in a way that was like, this is what needs to happen. This is how we're doing it. I adjust on the fly. I'm in the same room as Krennic, Mon Mothma, all these Imperials, Lonnie. I'm creating a fake story about this piece that I love for blind people. Like it's kind of crazy stuff, right? And stealing
Mhm.
the spy device, and she's just on it. She's so good.
So
Yeah.
good.
And there's the repeat of the "I have friends everywhere"
Mhm.
password.
The code phrase, yes.
That set design is amazing. Once again, love it.
Gorgeous. That Imperial dome, though. Oh, seeing it because we saw it in Rebels, and so it's it's a battle station. Yeah, Lonnie,
I mentioned you earlier.
Yeah.
Mhm.
are you
Here's
our
something
Imperial
else.
spy?
Why do all these people knock at the places they live? We did the same thing when Cyril arrived at Deidre's apartment. He knocked or
Yeah,
rang the
Well,
bell. And he was,
Cassian's doing it because it's the code.
Yeah.
The 1, 2, 3, 4
that's
does
what I was thinking,
also.
because he did do kind of a,
He does 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then rings the doorbell. And Bix did the same thing. She was panicking until with phone was ringing the doorbell until Lucen did the set of knocks, and then she
Mhm.
relaxed and dropped her shoulders and opened the door. So it's a code.
Great.
I wouldn't have picked up on that, and I don't know if Screen Crush had that in their review. I'm trying to remember what they said
Yeah, because
yesterday.
he does 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then rings the doorbell. And you can see that Bix was being really tense when Lucen came to visit because he's just ringing the doorbell, and then he does the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then she calms down and relaxes and opens the door. And actually, that was probably the most crushing scene for me in this whole arc is when she opens the door and sees him and goes, "No," because she thinks he's coming to tell her that Cassian died.
Yeah. Oh,
Mhm.
And
yeah.
like that's like as a military spouse, the one thing you don't want to see is that car with the military license plate driving down the
Now,
street.
I'm
Wasn't
loving
very
this
well
little
dressed.
thing that's going on right now where he's telling her about how his character.
Mhm, how pretty he was. Yeah. This is the best scene.
It
A
really
little bit
is.
of
Just
role
like
role
play.
smile
play.
on her face. Oh,
Yeah. And she's
it
like,
was
"You need
very,
to bring
very
him home
pretty.
some night. You need to
I
bring
like
him
that he
home
just.
some night."
I like that he described himself as pretty. Oh, that's so
It
funny.
was a pretty outfit. There's just no other word for it.
It was fabulous.
It like
Yeah.
went past handsome
Sunglasses.
and into pretty.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Oh, cosplay in the bedroom, y'all.
There's a lot. This show is not afraid to speak to adults like adults have sex, right? Um, and also like the politics are very nuanced, I think. Like when we get to the Senate where Mon Mothma is like holding on, like gripping and just like holding on by a thread, it would be very easy to
Oh
like
yeah.
overdo that, you know?
Almost like that oath doesn't mean anything to
She can't say
some
it.
of
She
the people.
can't say it anymore because it's to the Empire, not to the Republic.
Yeah.
She's trying. She's probably had to say it every year since Order 66. Since
Mhm.
the foundation of the Empire, she's had to say it. And then she starts it and it just gets stuck in her throat. She can't do it. She can't say it. What I was
And there's
wondering about, it
always
was kind of hard to tell. Was that the end of the oath? Did she walk out in the middle of it, or was it done and she just had to hurry up and get out of there? It was a little hard to tell. Like, were
I
you done?
think it
Was
was
that
right at the
for the
tail
Empire?
end.
Were you done? Okay.
Yeah. I also think that she's one of the more visible senators. So if she wasn't at least there for most of it, like, you start planting the crumbs of like she's a traitor, which is coming. I can't wait.
Mhm.
I can't wait for
Mhm.
next week. You don't understand. Like
Wait.
Mon Mothma is a top 5 character for me, maybe top 3. Like in
Mhm.
all of Star Wars,
Mhm.
not in Andor, like all of Star Wars, Mon Mothma. And so next week is
Yep.
finally going to be, I think, the thing that puts her on the map for other light fans. Like people who say that Darth Vader
Mhm.
or Luke Skywalker is their favorite Star Wars character and they can only name 10, like the truly light fans of Star Wars. And I'm not putting any of them down. I'm saying that like they don't,
Yeah.
no, they don't do this. They don't watch this. And we're making a show. And then other people watch the show. These are people who have seen the
Yeah.
movies once, right? I think Mon
Yeah.
Mothma belongs in that pantheon of like super heavyweights. And I
sure.
think next week could do it.
I hope so, because she definitely deserves it. She is just stunning in every scene, no matter
Even with
what,
that
no matter how
necklace
big,
that looks like
how
it's a
small. Yeah,
gun.
and she has to take the collar off. Yeah, that's like the traditional Chandrilian thing. Because remember when she had to pin those chains up around for the wedding ceremony? I
Mhm.
think that's some sort of traditional Chandrilian like seat of office thing, maybe. I don't know. I'm very curious to find out.
I love that. It's tough squeezing a whole
It was
year's
the worst.
insincerity into 3 nights or whatever. And she's like, you'll figure it
The
out.
3 nights. You'll figure it out. You always
Love
do.
it.
Yeah.
He's
And I'll tell you what.
he's the party planner. So, and he's
Mhm.
overwhelmed.
He's the
He's
events
overwhelmed.
coordinator. He's the
He's like
calendar.
her
Yep.
agent. Like he makes
Yeah.
sure that
Mhm.
like she's seen in the best places. Or
He would be the
publicist.
Clea
Exactly.
if he were,
Yeah.
useful.
He's basically her player. Yeah, exactly. And I'm in a Discord, and someone made a question about we were talking about Dedra and Cyril, and someone made a question about like I feel like they're building up to something. They're going to go somewhere. They make us like these characters, and then they're going to do something like even more terrible. And I'm like, you've never watched Rebels, have you? Like he doesn't know the Gorman Massacre is coming. He's going to lose it at the end of next week's arc because I'm like. Okay, I'm not going to spoil it for you because I can answer that question if you want me to, but I'll just say your instincts are right on this one. Oh, I love this line from Luthen. I thought it would be interesting if she didn't, and now you've both disappointed me.
Mhm.
Mm. I do think
Also,
it's
he
interesting
sleeps
that
in that wig.
he has
Mhm.
whenever he's there on Coruscant, he wears the wig, which is a good wig. It looks really
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
Like it's unreal, like how good the illusion is. And I don't think there's any CG touch up. It's just a really good lace front.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Chris Evans wore a wig for Captain America in all the movies, and everyone thought that was his real hair.
Oh man, really?
Really?
Really? I didn't know that.
Dropping knowledge. Here we go.
Yeah, wigs have gotten really good. Girl, drag queens have wigs that are like realistic. So
Mhm.
imagine what you can do with Hollywood budgets, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
That's going to
the
be
hair
up
and makeup
to.
in this show are incredible.
Mhm.
Yes.
Well,
I
one of our
keep looking for
members,
flaws. Yeah.
makes wigs for the Opera House in Chicago, and she also gets contracts sometimes to make different wigs for
Mhm.
Hollywood productions. I know
Mhm.
she said
Wow.
she has done some for the Descendants movies,
Ooh.
and
Those are fun because they're bright and colorful and
well,
crazy.
when she works on them, though, that they're like blonde, and it's sent to the costume designer who
For dying.
Shot
Okay.
Master, and they do the dyeing and the
Gotcha.
styling.
Yeah. I don't know the Descendants too well because I'm a little bit on the older side for that, but like because it's an IP that
Yeah.
has pop culture cred, like I've seen enough of them. And by the way, they're on their like fifth one. And I think that a TV show too.
It
That
just keeps
those
going.
things will not
Yeah.
I've
stop. Yeah.
watched them, and they're fun. It's like
Yeah.
little musical TV,
hmm
interesting characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Here we go. This is the piece that they don't tell you about with that. This is how Cassian and Bix managed to get the information.
hmm Yeah. Dr. Gorst.
And that's how they figured it out where he was and that he was even on Coruscant
Yeah.
in an accessible place. Yeah.
Yeah. His stuff is going to get expanded into a program, which is amazing.
Mhm. Calibrate your enthusiasm.
It's so good.
It's just your
I am
job.
going to use that phrase forever here on out. Yep.
Mhm.
Instead of check
Like
yourself before you wreck
enthusiasm.
yourself. Like calibrate your
Mhm.
enthusiasm.
And then Lonnie says, "You're doing it."
He's like, what? What did I do?
That would be me ending up on that stupid bullshit assignment. But you get to go to the party.
Hey, yeah, and it's a good time. I just thought it was really funny that Lonnie was like, "We're here every year." Oh, Belle looks so nervous here. This is why I thought it was going to be her because they zero and focus in so much on her emotions this whole time. They
Mhm.
really. Oh, I love that shot in the window with the two of
Yeah.
them.
It would also
With
It's like
crush
yin and
Mon
yang.
Mothma. Like,
yes,
yeah,
I thought the same thing. Yeah.
the circular architecture and everything. Also, if Vel
Mhm.
died, it would crush Mon Mothma. If you had to pick one, you have to keep Vel going through the end of the series at least, because and she
Yeah.
needs to
And
see
I
Mon
wasn't
Mothma really
thinking
take a
about.
stand.
Well, and that was the other thing is she's like, "Oh, I care about her," and I'm like, "That's it. She's gonna buy it. She's gonna buy it.
Yeah,
That's like piece of
exactly.
cake." You can't
As soon
say,
as we
you can't
say we
say
love
that.
her like someone, you can't be attached to nothing in this universe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. I was like, "Oh, I know that's weren't we?" So I was convinced. Yeah, is so that just broke my heart when it turned out to be her.
Yeah.
Mm,
Stressing.
the super short hair.
I want to
Yeah.
know what happened to Cinta. Like, did you crash your car trying to off pay?
I
That's
noticed. I
what I
noticed she's
think
only
it
wearing.
was.
She's only wearing one glove. You look next time you see her hand. She's got a black glove on her left hand, but nothing on her right.
She had some
So.
type of injury, but I don't know if it's from the
Mm-hmm.
crash or whatever. But she did kill that guy. I mean, right?
Well,
Like we
she
would
said
know
it
if
was
she.
a year ago, and that would
Yeah.
put the timeline right.
I'm hoping that she's going to get like a novel or a comic book series where we can get like what happened to Cinta in the year she was running for the. I would love there to be all kinds of like comic book or book series about like everybody. What are they out there doing? Like how did Wilmot end up on
Yeah,
Saw's
she's
team?
looking
Right?
at her
Like,
hand like this.
Mm-hmm.
and she's got only one glove on. So yeah.
That's so sad. Ugh.
They're so much more emotional and soft here. They were so hard and so fierce and so driven in the first season, you know. And in the last one, you could see Vel kind of softening a little bit, but the two of them together both being soft here. Oh, this scene actually made me feel bad for Cyril. I never would have thought last year that I would have been.
I know. Like, we need to stop this.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we're watching a show. I'll give you 2 guesses.
And I thought that line was so ironic because he's like, "Oh, you must never know what this is really about." I'm like, "Bruh, you don't know what this is about. You think this is some energy project. You have no idea about the Death Star." Like, I just thought that was funny. I'm like, "Honey,
That's
you
the
don't even know what
layers
this is
to
really
all
about."
of this.
Yeah.
Yeah. They
Mhm.
know that there's a
Mhm.
clean energy project that is going to strip the planet potentially of all of its minerals
For
and maybe
Calcite.
destabilize the
Yeah.
planet. But oh man, yeah,
Mhm.
no one really knows. Only Orson Krennic knows and the Emperor. And I guess Tarkin.
And Tarkin, so he can
Mhm.
steal it.
Mhm.
Bro, that's my shirt. What are you doing?
Yeah, the big question is when does Vader learn of it? Because he obviously knows by Rogue One. So has he been in on it the whole time? Or just when Krennic starts to screw up and he gets called in on it?
Mm. I feel like Vader would have known
Interesting
because
question.
of at the end of Revenge of the Sith, he would have seen like the start of something, right? Which also is a little bit of a plot hole because lots of people could have looked out that window. But I feel like Vader knows a lot.
Yeah,
That's
he
right.
is the Emperor's right hand.
Because he was on the
Yeah.
bridge of the ship. That's right. Okay. I forgot about that.
And so is Tarkin. Yeah. And that weird, like, random 5 seconds. And that's what I mean. Like, you don't need that. Shoot around him.
It's far enough away without being distinct, so that part is good.
You do not move under any circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
And see, I thought she was going to be the one messing it up when she helps that little old lady.
Yep. Well, that was,
It's
she was
rough.
originally supposed to be the driver, right? And they realized they couldn't trust her, so they pulled her off the driver. And then she's helping the old lady. And that means that the mouthy kid got left alone. And that was the problem.
And I will say, it kills me that, like, the empathy of them is the thing that did them in. Like, she's going to help the old lady, and that's what led to the opening. And then that stupid kid is too ambitious and wants to be on adventures, right? So, yeah.
Lana.
Well, if we were going to take bets on who was going to screw it up, I thought it was going to be multiple people. I didn't think they were going to get as much done as they did. It seems like they stole a bunch of stuff, seemed relatively successful. But like, yeah, the breakdown was a moment of bad judgment because they were trying to help that old lady, which is, I mean, to be applauded, truly, because it's like that's the
Keeping her
difference
out of it,
between
right?
the
Yeah.
regular people and the Empire. We actually care about our people.
Yep. Yep.
But also, you have to follow, like, you as a
And
military
even
spouse.
the cranky, angry old man, right? They were like, don't go over there. Don't get involved in this. Stay out of it, you know?
Yeah. Which he
Well,
was
he
the
was
one at the
very
town hall.
vocal at the town hall.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. You know, and honestly, you kind of wonder if someone else had been the one to stop him.
Yeah.
They probably
Could
should
you
have
have
just let him
de-escalated
in.
and been
They
like,
should have let him in. You know,
Yeah, be
or
like,
just let him go see what was going on. What's the worst thing that could happen? You know?
yeah. And that's the other
Yeah.
thing, Lonnie, you're right. He wasn't supposed to bring a weapon. The only people who are supposed to
Yeah.
have blasters are Vel and Cinta.
Yeah,
That's it.
he was being a hot shot. He was being a hot shot. You know, he thinks he can handle it. He's a big man with a gun,
Mhm.
like so many other certain types of people in the real world.
2 more drops.
Look, I'm gonna find out where I should get these drops because I need to get some sleep. So
We have blue milk. We
It's not
have
worth it. It's not worth the nightmares. Yeah.
blue drops.
That's Luthen's signal now. The flashing light.
And
it's
so me,
green.
he tells them the information.
And the first thing I thought of was when she said it was flashing again, is The Great Gatsby. The green light.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
Mhm.
Sherry, what a good reference. I read that book in high
Mhm.
school and it was lost on me. And then I read it again in college and I was like, oh, like toward the end
Right?
of college.
Mm.
There's a
Same.
big difference between reading that book at 16 and 22. Like,
Real.
it is
Yes.
a
Which is
huge
why they
gap.
shouldn't make high schoolers read it because the majority of them are never.
Oh no, they made us read it. I was reading it at 16.
I know,
Yeah,
but
it's
nobody
lost
gets
on
it.
you.
That's the point. I like
Right.
it's just
Interesting
irritating.
story about that book is that F. Scott Fitzgerald thought it was going to be his biggest hit. He'd already had 2
Mhm.
prior big novels. But this one, when it came out, it just kind of flopped. It only sold
Really?
like 200,000 copies.
Huh.
And this is prior to World War II. Well, then one of the things that was sent to the GIs was these little library books. And Great Gatsby was one of the books that they chose to be sent to the GIs. And then by word of mouth of soldiers to their families. And that's what made it become more popular.
Interesting. I wonder what it was that
That's not
resonated.
depressing at all. Send the Great Gatsby to people in trenches. That's a fantastic idea. Yeah.
Well, that's kind
Maybe
of what I was
something
getting
more
at, right?
uplifting. I don't know.
There's some here's the thing, if you read the book at a surface level and it's like, oh, what a fun party, like that could be the book if you don't care about like the sadness that follows and the
Mhm.
lack of love in your, like if you don't read below the surface level, like fun, right? Like the Leonardo DiCaprio movie is fun
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
flashy and stupid, and then the book has a lot more depth, and maybe if you just read it quickly like that, you're not paying attention because guess what, there's war out there, there's way more important things to care about. Maybe that's the reason, because otherwise that book's depressing, right? Like we're supposed to leave that book
That was
depressed.
depressing as hell.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Here in this scene with Belle and
Mhm.
Cinta, and they're talking about Luthen, and it's like, is the parallels between them talking about Luthen and Bix and Cassian. It's like they're both like both sets are like unhappy. Luthen seems to be one that's keeping them apart or causing trouble between them.
Right.
Yeah, there's a parallel story happening there for sure. I will say, if this show were on 10 years ago, this would have been like a moment where there's like 2 women kissing. How novel. I didn't see any discourse about the fact that we have lesbians on TV or that people were annoyed by this, at least in my
Seriously.
sphere. So I feel like
Yeah.
things are moving
I
in the
haven't
right
seen
direction.
any either.
It's
Yeah.
been refreshing.
Yeah, so that's good. I think people are annoyed about other things, but
course.
also like I can't complain about like I have to say I'm happy with the progress made on that front, even if we still end up in a situation where the characters are going to die, because I think every character in this show is going to die. So there's that too. Like, yeah, these lesbians aren't getting. Oh, here we go. This is my scene with my girl. Look at the look on her face. Oh,
Yep.
just the hope is just like
She
draining.
can't-
She's aging like
She can't
at
do
a,
it.
yeah. The way
It's
she's
frightening,
gripping
right? She's
the,
like, I can't do it.
Well-
I can't say it. I can't pretend anymore.
She is
Can't do
all of us. All of us.
And
Yeah.
whenever she's around the Senate, she walks
oh, the
quickly,
speed
briskly.
walking girl. I want to walk with her because I'm gonna get my steps in. It's like being on a Nordic track.
Doesn't that look like the Batmobile landing
Kind of does.
with the red
Kind of does.
lights
So
underneath?
the vase that they were looking at, the art appraiser for Skulden, when she was talking with Clea, it's right there off to the left, Clea's left. That's actually a Truda on top of it. You
Oh,
can
shit.
see when it zooms in. If you pause it and zoom in real close, it's a cross-legged seated Togruta sitting on top of the jar.
Wait, is that the same one from season
cool.
1? Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
I don't know.
There's
I don't know.
also
I
there's
hadn't
also
seen
the
it before
hands
that.
of the mortis gods that's on a rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I think there's some new pieces in this season.
There has to be. Yeah, the set designers don't play. I will say all of this looks like so expensive and gorgeous, and that outfit she's wearing with
Oh,
the caped
fabulous.
hood. I mean, this could be someone
On
else's
their
wedding
just-
dress. Like, and
I
this is
know,
just like
right?
going to dinner.
And it's a party dress. It's a
Yeah.
party dress.
It's unreal. Also, look at the difference between how everyone is spending their time. There are people like scraping for food and fighting in the jungle, and then they're fighting to steal arms, and then there's this nonsense, right? If this is what represent Coruscant and the Empire, it's the haves and the have-nots. An empire can't stand when there's this much inequality between people. Just saying. And here's our Benjamin Bratt. I think he did fine.
Yeah.
I will also go on record and say I don't need bail. Like, I already know what Bale's doing. Like, if you can't get him,
Well-
don't get him. What was the point?
That's kind of how I felt about it. I'm like, if you weren't going to get him, you didn't need him.
Yeah, but I
I
think it
think
might be
he's
a bigger
going
role
to-
later.
He's going to facilitate Mon getting away next
Yeah.
week.
He's
Yeah.
gonna be like the personal getaway driver, like he was for Yoda.
I don't think he needs to be, though. And if he was, like, we can figure that out. We can shoot around it. She can be where she needs to be and talk about it. Like, we've been able to do this whole thing without the Rebels crew. We're able to be in the Mandalorian time frame without Luke and Leia, and Han, who are all still alive at that time. So I think we'll make it work. I do love this party, though. I want to live at this party. And yeah, Lonnie, you're right. And Sherry said the same thing, that apparently, like, Bale is going to be in more episodes, and so they introduced the cameo. So we'll get used to seeing a larger version of Benjamin Bratt as him next week. And I'm just saying, full stop. If we don't have Jimmy Smits, I don't need him recast, especially because he was just in Obi-Wan Kenobi
Obi-Wan.
just a couple of years ago. Like, and also he's significantly older, and we need him to be playing like a significantly younger version of himself. Like, this show is only a few years after Revenge of the Sith. Like, not as much time as he has aged. It's less time than he has aged. So, like, that's the thing.
No, the show is right before A New Hope.
What are we, 3 years out?
Obi-Wan Kenobi was 7 years prior to this, canonically speaking. So he would
Yeah.
have been similar in age what he was in that show. Maybe a little older.
Well, I was going off of Revenge of the Sith, which would have been 15
Yeah.
years, but I guess it's 20 to 15.
That was
Yeah.
17 years ago now. Yeah.
Yeah,
So we've got 3 left to the Battle of Yavin, and that was about 20 years later.
I know all this Star Wars math.
1920.
Um,
I know.
Someone
Yeah, I
asked me
can never
recently
keep-
what BBY was, and I was like, oh, it's like BC and AD. That's how you have to think about it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this lady with the forgery.
Mm-hmm.
Her face. She's just like,
I also want to know what
I
that
want
drink
that
is.
drink.
Yeah. You and me, Jerry.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Someone needs to figure out how to make that for the next.
it looks like the
505
stuff
bash or
that they
something.
have on the charcuterie
Oh, here we
board at
go.
Galaxy's Edge.
This is my boy.
Mhm.
He's drinking and having a party.
Speak for
Mhm.
yourself,
He's having
bruh.
fun.
Bruh.
Cali coolers. I wonder
Here,
if that's like
that's
a
his
wine
name.
cooler.
Heert, Heert is his last name. Heert.
Get your boss drunk. Take advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Also tense.
It was really hard rewatching the show because he's the one at the beginning that's like giving Cyril the spider and everything, and I just wanted to whack him upside the head.
Yeah.
It was really hard to rewatch. I was like, "You little punk ass, God."
Mon Mothma looks so incredible. Like, this dress.
Mhm.
Oh, I
And then
know
Luthen looks
that
great.
Mhm.
leather work or whatever, cross stitch.
Yes.
Yeah, like cording, or is it like?
Yeah.
I couldn't tell him. Like, is it metal? Is it a stretchy cord? I could just everything's fabulous. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it looks like boning, like some kind of leather piping.
Mm.
I love her. Just yes, I care about her.
It's her cousin, you
Yes,
think
he's
that?
done
What
with
do you
it. Yeah.
expect?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he has just burned all semblance of human emotion out of his soul. It is all about the bigger picture and how to make the win. You know, like that's all it is for him.
Clea with that very determined look on her face.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
girl, you're gonna give yourself away. It's a party. Don't look like a death stalker, for God's sake. Like, come on, there you
Mhm.
go. Gotta make
Her
it
hair.
fair.
Lonnie.
I hate to say it, her hair reminds me from Dracula.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Me too.
Or Dracula
think
Dead
of every-
Loving It, which is already worse because you just picture Leslie Nielsen.
Your friends will think we're flirting. There's no harm in that, is there? Love it. She's like, I'll
Mhm.
have you killed. She'll do it too.
Mhm.
I want to know
Yep.
how many people Clay has
Yep.
had killed because I think it's a good number. I think it's like a
Mm.
nice, sizable number, like a respectable double digits.
I mean, it was almost Cassian.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
he's a loose
We don't have
end.
concrete proof, but if I were a betting man, I'm like, I'm gonna go with like 12.
Oh yeah. Easily. She cray. Right, Soka?
Mm. Mm.
I love these collections because I feel like this is how we are as nerds, where it's like, come visit this thing. This is vintage 1977 mint in box.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
I went to see Gus Lopez. He's one of the biggest Star Wars collectors. He and Steve Sansweet and another collector are going to be doing the Saga Museum. His collection is off the wall. And I felt just like this when I was walking through his crazy house.
Mm.
So
How refreshing to
awesome.
see you outside of the witness stand is going to be my new.
See, did you
How
see
you
how
doing?
Karen just cut right in there? Right, like the
Oh, yeah.
hostilities were starting between
Yeah.
Krennic and Monmouth, and he was like, "So, please tell me what it is you had." I mean,
Yeah,
that is
tell me
your
more about
job
this
as a
thing.
spouse. You
He's a
insert
good
with the drink, you
de-escalator.
break up. It's like cats, you know. You have to break the line of sight, right? You know, you
Mhm.
have to get in there and you have to break it in. Yeah, and
Yeah.
It was very Chris Hemsworth entering the shot in Thor: Love and Thunder. Um, Lonnie's doing a bad job, I will say. He looks nervous and
Not
is
you,
not
Lonnie.
listening.
That
Yeah,
Lonnie.
yeah, that's
Not
right.
our
Lonnie
Lonnie,
in
that
Star
Lonnie.
Wars, not Lonnie fan of Star Wars.
That's right. Our
Yeah.
Lonnie is great.
That's
She would
right,
do
no
a better job
complaints.
of keeping her cool than this little wiener. I'm
Right?
sorry. I'm
Lonnie,
just
can we
like,
go to this
you've been
party?
you've been a spy for how many years? Get it together, you little
He's really
weak-kneed
shaken.
toad.
I mean,
Oh my God.
well,
I
here's the
know.
thing.
And his
Like,
face is giving it away. And he's like, and I'm like, he keeps saying, "Are you serious? Are you serious?" Yes, you serious. Shut up and do what you're told. Oh
Yeah.
my God.
oh my God, she
You're
told
not
him to move
helping.
to the or she will
And
tell
that's
him
the
to move to the
thing,
left like
you
3
know, everyone
times.
say, do what you're told. Shut up
Yeah.
and do what you're told.
Do what you're told. And just imagine how much better this entire evening would have gone if all of the men had just shut up and did what the women told them to. My
Yeah.
God.
There you go. That's the show. Can we use that as the pull quote to promote on Instagram?
Yes.
Of
Of course you can.
Yes,
So
please.
Always.
I think what's interesting though is the cognitive dissonance once again of like the reason the rebels and all of the individual citizens are not succeeding in these missions is because they're not just doing what they're told. They don't want to listen to the Empire because like those are the bad guys and they shouldn't be following those orders or whatever. And they're trying to rebel and find freedom. But in order to find freedom, you need to join that military structure where there needs to be a chain of command and you have to listen and you have to actually sacrifice a little bit of your individuality for that greater cause. And that's the struggle for all of these people because Saw said it in
Yeah.
season 1, right? We have all these different interests across like the separatists and the neo-republics or whatever, like all these groups who have nothing in common except that they don't like the Empire, but like they got
Well, and even the previous arc, we saw what happened because you had Maya Pei as a leader, and when everybody thinks something happened to that leader, there was no clear chain of command on who was going to step in next, and everything shattered, and everything fell apart, and it caused Paco to get killed, and it caused Cassian to get captured, it caused Brasso to get killed, and his whole family life to fall apart because these little idiots couldn't adhere to any kind of an organized structure. You know,
multiple people
it's like
were shot
you
and
can't
killed. It was
just
terrible.
be angry. You can't just be angry with a gun. You have to have a plan and you have to have leaders. I'm sorry. I get that you don't like the fascists. I agree. But that doesn't mean you can just run around willy-nilly and do whatever because then you get Saw Gerrera. And we all know where that ended up.
Yeah, high on Mist, calling it your sister.
Righto, I
Wild.
know. So does anybody else, especially Clone Wars fans here, does anybody else
Mm.
think we just got the backstory on when it was Saw actually went nuts?
Hmm.
Because like in Clone Wars, he was kind of got it together. He was doing okay. In Bad Batch, it sort of kind of seemed to tip over the edge a little bit. I
Mhm.
think we just got the backstory on when he actually went cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. It's when he
Well,
started
I
huffing
think it
Righto.
started when his sister was killed.
That's
Yeah,
still
he
in Clone
became
Wars, yeah.
emotionally unstable, but then he
Mm.
actually went over the edge when he
Oh,
got
for sure.
toxic poisoning
The gas.
Rhydonium from huffing Righto. Yeah, that's when
Yeah.
he actually went
Mhm.
blue
There's a
and
lot of
went
like
away.
there's a lot of subtle buried like don't do drugs kids kind of messaging in this show in a way that I was surprised. But yeah, oh my god, I love this where like the thing won't turn. I'm dying. I can't.
I don't love this. This is my least favorite kind of anxiety. Don't ever put me in a situation like this. I will screw it up. Don't even let me watch. If I were in the room, I would have had a fainting attack by now, and I would have blown the whole thing because I'd have just been like, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god!" Like running around just freaking out. I could not have kept it together.
Also, just in
Her
case
face,
you weren't,
it's
yeah,
God.
she's just like so
She's just so
concentrated.
pissed
She's
off.
like, and
Mhm.
this again with the costume design, even though Krennic has always been like dressed to the nines, I didn't think they could possibly up his dressing game
Oh, with
any
that
further.
that's a stupid
Totally did.
thing, the belt or whatever.
Oh, the weird
He looks insane.
sash, the little like, you know, insignias on the
Mhm.
pins.
At
Girl.
least they improved the cape. At least they improved the cape. That was a nice big step up for him.
Yeah,
It's actually got some
less of a
enviable flow.
tarp.
Yeah, listen to her.
She will stab you in the face, Lonnie. Don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Say I'm defining
is-
people by their resistance to power.
Even Skolden
Mhm.
steps up to kind of be on her side.
Mm-hmm.
Oof. The
My
volley.
rebel is your terrorist.
Ben Mendelsohn is
Mhm.
so terrifying as
Yeah.
a villain.
I mean, ultimately, Mon Mothma does win in the end, but in this moment, like it's
Mhm.
hard for I'm sure it's hard for her to be like, it's hard for her, I'm sure, to believe that she's gonna win. Because doesn't it all seem to be crumbling around her in every single way?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like this sucks. Like
And
we are headed down.
yeah, I think this is the first time she's actually starting to believe she can't get anything done in the Senate. Like she can see what's happening with Gorman. Like it's finally sinking in. I
Mhm.
can't just stay here and keep it on like I've been doing. I think she's finally starting. The clue bird is starting to land that this is untenable. Like it won't stay. I'm going to have to do something else.
Oh, I
And
just
it's like this
noticed
nagging
her
thought
hand
in the
was
back of her
actually
brain.
bleeding.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
shit!
she had
I didn't
blood
notice
running
that
down her
either.
hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how hard
I
she was
didn't
trying to
notice it.
twist that key. It was cutting into her hand. Yeah.
I'm telling you, she's a murderer, and I'm fine with that. By the way, I think Clea should be able to kill whoever she likes. I'm gonna give her full free reign. Whoever she wants, just shoot him, stab him, whatever.
She has never shot a single person. I will tell you that, but she will have arranged to have them killed.
I like that too.
I
think she knows how to get her hands dirty, though. I
Ordered the
think,
hits.
yeah, but I also think she will
Maybe.
stab you and can.
Oh, in self-defense, I could 100% see that. Like, I think she could. But I mean, yeah, she's the one who's like, oh, well, he's no good. Have him eliminated. Does she do it herself? No. But she's like, have that person eliminated. They're a loose end. Tie them up. Get rid of them. She's ruthless.
Well, it goes back to when Lonnie asked her, what would you do if I wasn't here? And she said that she would do
whatever
what
I'd
she
have
had
to.
to. I could see her.
This scene. The look on Belle's face.
Oh,
she's
so
mad and she's feeling it.
Pointless. It is such a pointless death, and I know that's the point because Brasso's death was pointless too. But from an in-universe perspective, it makes perfect sense. From an external perspective, we have hardly any LGBTQ representation in the saga. There are very few women of color, and there are very few people left in this show that I think like had a chance of living after the show, because like they all have to end up in various places and we have to eliminate certain people. She could have legitimately been somewhere along with Vel.
Yeah.
Like there are other people we know have to die. Like this character didn't need to die. And so I'm struggling to deal with like the way they justify this shit.
Okay, so I have a question for you. And this is a legitimate question because I'm curious.
Yeah.
So Brasso was very much almost at the point of living happily ever after. He was living with Talia. Talia was, I mean, it might have been someone that he had gone back to. And so that is a heterosexual relationship. And so here we have a couple that has had a long-term relationship. It's been turbulent. They've had their ups and downs. They're finally coming back together. But both of them ended up in the same place in tragedy. Does that not, in my mind, I was like, oh, they're just like so many other couples, like Bix and Cassian, like Brasso, like, oh, they're just like all of us. They're suffering the same pains and the rebellion's treating them the same way. To me, I actually was kind of, it felt good to me, but I'm not gay. So I don't know. Does it not, am I wrong in thinking that? Am I minimizing it too much?
No, I think where you're coming from is the right place, where like LGBTQ couples and heterosexual couples should be on the same wavelength of I think like representation, and they should go through the same trials and tribulations and all of that stuff. The concern in media is like the trope of bury your gays is like such a thing, and it's been going for so long that we need a little bit of overcorrection, where if we were going to pick like 8 people to live, or 10 people to live, and gay people make up 1% of the population or less, like you got to get 2 gays in there. And we need more overrepresentation of women and people of color. And I think in this case, it's a trifecta. It's like lady, person of color, gay. Oh shit, this was like the Gong Show, which in some ways is like the joke at the start of a horror movie. She would have been like the very first person killed. And it's frustrating too, because I do think from a writing perspective, like he should have killed one of his own. And I think like that would have then like created such friction internally. And they could have all sort of like turned on him in a way that like from there, now you have another rebellion in shambles that was starting to get ground. And it infuriates me, because like I actually thought like shit just to win.
That's fair. Yeah, I did too. I really wanted that for them.
I appreciate the level playing field that you're thinking of.
I'm sorry to put you on the spot like that. It was just it was a legitimate question, and I was like, I feel like this is a good place to ask because it's Star Wars related.
Oh my god, of course.
But I where my brain went is that this is it. This is it. The rebellion is pulling out, and they're going to leave Gorman on their own because they fucked this up this bad and cost them Cinta, and they're going to be packing their bags and they're fucking out of there, and that's why, Yeah,
I actually think you are 100% right on that regard, because Vel is
as sad as I was to see that happen, I feel like just killing one of them wouldn't have been enough. Like, they had to make that hard break.
I think that's reasonable. That
one of the best speeches in Star Wars. Yeah,
this could be her Emmy clip.
Yeah,
right.
It's like, I love that line. This is like skin. You will carry her everywhere.
The like skin thing is interesting, because I can't imagine. Look, I've never worked in law enforcement. I was never in the military, but I know people who have done both, and I know people who have had to fire a gun to defend themselves. And you remember every moment of that. He like really does look like a child. Like he was trying to play the role of like the big man before, and it's all coming crashing down.
She was already everything you have ever daydreamed about. You thought you were such a big man, and she was actually it, and you killed her, you doof.
You didn't follow orders. And look, Ahsoka went through this. If you read the Ahsoka book and you've seen her other stuff, like when she's not part of the order, dealing with everyday citizens, trying to get them to follow basic military orders is a real challenge. And so you have to like work around that. And it's like the biggest pitfall. We're not good at that kind of thing, because we always think we know better. And like, even if you're still in a chain of command, like you still have to like listen. You have to work your way up and prove it.
Well, if nothing else, at least have respect for people who know what the hell they're doing.
Yeah.
Even if you don't want to respect them as a military organization, they know more than you do. So shut up and
Yeah.
listen, for God's sake. Like,
We should have killed Krennic when we were up there. She
Yeah.
finally smiled now that she got that listening device.
they both did. Yeah.
Oh, so good.
I
Clea,
And
was
I
any-
noticed
prepared
too
for
that
this
she
scene.
was massaging her hand that
Yeah.
I hadn't picked up before.
Mhm.
So a tiny little detail.
Okay.
Oh,
It
this
took me to the
scene.
second walkthrough to realize what he was holding. He has a cake. He
Yeah.
has one of the little
He was
croissant
at the
cakes,
party.
like from the fondue dinner. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he was at the little
Well,
party.
croissant's famous for its little cakes, right? We
Mhm.
learned that at the fondue dinner. It's famous for its little cakes. So he went out and he got himself a little takeaway cake.
I was seriously hoping that Bix took the cake with her when she left.
Yeah, that would have been amazing.
That would have been
Like,
good.
look how good that looks.
That's the only tragedy here is that the cake got blown up. You know, someone saves a cake.
Damn. Wonder
was
how
so
long
fast.
before they have that at Docking Bay 7.
Mhm.
Oh,
Well, you know,
freak
because it
out.
was, I
Hair on
actually,
his face.
so satisfying.
Mhm.
Here's my concern, though.
Just casually,
Very few people
casually
know that
flicking the
he's
buttons.
back. Very few people know that he's back. Only the party twink and Lonnie. So someone's going to
Like,
get blown up for this.
He gets blown up in the building. They don't know that he was tied up
Hopefully
like
the
that.
explosion was big enough to have taken out a chunk of it, and they just think it was a casualty.
And it
That's
wasn't
also-
targeted.
Take
I-
the cake.
Yeah.
Well, I think if they investigate further, they have a chance of identifying that it's a targeted
They
thing.
know-
But
well, it's definitely going to go to the access desk, right?
Yeah.
It's going to go to the access desk. Yeah.
yeah, without
But
a
I
doubt.
think
And
what
so
was
Deidre will figure it
this
out.
girl- Ooh, damn, girl.
She looks so good there. She's just gonna and she just shoots that guy. Oh, there's
Calm,
so
cool,
good.
collected.
Man, that man hit the floor hard.
Ugh.
That stunt actor, good on him because he fucking bounced.
I
Like
wonder
he
if
was,
it's padded.
Mhm.
he sold that. That was a good sell, sir. I appreciate you and the way your face hit the ground.
First.
I damn.
Yeah, face first. Well, you know, I did hear somebody back in the first season of Andor, so this was, you know, a while ago, was complaining about this whole Dr. Gorst thing and if it was so effective and blah blah blah. How come we've never heard of it before? And yet, and what is Vader doing using the little mind probe droid if you have this stuff that could just so effectively get all the information? And I was like, that's why,
that
because
explains
Jason
it.
Cassidy
They blew
killed
it
him
up.
and blew up all his fucking research. That's how. Bite me, you know? Yeah, I love it.
But
Oh,
not
Troy.
only that.
Hi,
Oh, Troy, you
Troy.
missed a whole discussion on that. It's
You
You're
missed
it's a
gonna
it.
recast.
have to go back and rewatch us.
You're too late. You're too late. We're not going down. We're not going to go down that path. Nope. All done. All done. Sorry, Troy. Next time.
I'm looking at the title
Save the line
cards
till
for everyone.
Saturday is the takeaway here. Save the line till Saturday.
Unless it's raining, which is fine. But we'll
Yeah,
forgive
that too. Yeah, it might be doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, we have bad weather coming.
it.
Denise and Kyle are just like forces of nature. Love
Yeah.
them.
And Faye.
Congrats to
and
Benjamin
Andrea.
Benjamin Bratt.
I do love
I-
you, Ben. We all do. We're
Yeah.
very much. We're glad to have you in Star Wars. Just it's just. I was saying to my husband, I said, I'm not sure that I can probably explain it to anybody who's too much younger than me. Sherry, I'll be interested to get your take on this as well. But for me, Jimmy Smith was a huge deal in the 80s. Like he was huge. He was a
Hill Street
massive star.
Blues.
My
No,
mother
no,
had a
no.
crush on Jimmy Smith. No, it was Ellie Law.
No, not LA Law. There's the NYPD Blue.
NYPD Blue. Yeah.
Well, that's
That
what
was
I meant.
NYPD Blue.
NYPD
That's what it
Blue. I
was.
had the.
Yeah.
It was the
NYPD
New
Blue.
York Police.
Yeah, NYPD Blue.
My mother had a crush on Jimmy Smith. Like
Yeah,
he was a huge
so did
deal.
mine.
And living through the 90s where there was just a complete dearth of any kind of Star Wars. It was dark days, you know, it was the dark times, you know. And then when the prequels rolled around and movie stars like Samuel L. Jackson and TV stars like Jimmy Smith wanted to be in Star Wars, it was like earth-shattering. I can remember being in Attack of Clones and the entire theater erupted when that man walked on the screen. Like it was a huge deal. And he was playing Leia's father. It was the biggest freaking deal. And the fact that he's been there all
Yeah.
along, all the whole time, like it was, I'm never not going to be sad that Jimmy Smith wasn't in Andor, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not mad about it, and I don't dislike or
Right.
wish that Benjamin Bratt wasn't, but I'm never not going to
I'm
be a
buffering.
little tiny bit heartbroken. So
Right.
Okay, I found the guy,
that's my
Jacob
bail.
James Beswick. He
Mm-hmm.
is where is it?
Hirty.
Supervisor Heert,
H-E-E-R-T-Y.
Heert. Yeah, Jacob James Beswick.
Mhm.
He is our party twink. So I don't know enough about him, but I will follow him on Instagram. Because here's the thing, I think I've stopped like keeping up with who's in the credits and following people, which I need to
There's a
do.
lot. You really got to
I
go
know.
digging for it, you know? Yeah,
Yeah, it's a thing.
it's so much.
Also, I just noticed your shirt, Mark, the BB-8
Oh,
orange.
my BB-8 orange. Yeah.
Love it.
Oh,
Oh,
did we lose Sherry?
I think we lost
I
Sherry.
think we did. My computer's been acting up all night. I don't know if it's my Wi-Fi or what is going on.
You came through a little robotic a couple times. It felt like we were talking to Cher, circa believe.
I know.
But
I'm sorry.
all
'Cause
good.
my screens, I don't know what happened. I had to reset my network, and so I think it's not picking up on the right extender thing. I should have come in sooner to check it. Sorry, guys.
No, it's all good. Don't worry.
Cool.
I'm gonna follow him on Instagram. His Instagram doesn't have a lot of followers at the moment. I don't know if the Star Wars fans have like found him. And oh, let me get Sherry back. I'm gonna add her to the stage. There we go. We weren't gonna sign off while you were caught in limbo.
No.
So overall thoughts on episode 6 and the way the arc comes together. Sherry, actually Ashlee first. We'll go Ashlee, Sherry, Sarah. Overall thoughts and what did you love? What are you looking forward to next week?
I absolutely love the fact that Bix got her revenge. And in a
Mhm.
way, Vel got her revenge too, because it's more than just, murdering someone. It's making someone sit with their guilt.
Mm.
That was meant a lot. And honestly, I can't wait to see where they go from here. It's it's a lot of like just coming in under the wire to save things. So I just wonder where it's gonna go next week.
Sherry.
I agree that Bix getting the revenge was a big thing, and I think we're going to see her become more involved because Luthen has figured out that keeping her involved is what's going to keep her sane. And hopefully, getting her revenge on Gorst is just the beginning of that, and she's finally going to be able to get past most of it. I don't think she'll ever get past all of it, but some of it. She's going to be able to cope more.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't know about Vel. I think she was kind of there in shock when it first happened with Senta, and yes, she was able to give this speech, but are we going to see her grieve or not? That's what I'm wondering about.
We're skipping a
It's
year, so I
either
think we're
going-
going to lose a lot of the immediacy of that, and so it'll be what does grief look like a year from now?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see.
And I think we're going to see Wilman probably watch Saul go deeper and deeper crazy.
Yeah. He's approaching full on like chaos man.
To be honest, I thought he'd have lost at least. I thought he'd have lost at least a couple body parts by now. I mean, that man loses a whole lot in the next 2+ years. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's all still intact.
In Rebels, though, he's relatively coherent in Rebels, and then it falls off a cliff like real fast.
Mm-hmm.
So it's once Mon leaves the Senate and becomes part of the rebellion full time. I think he's just.
I think when she starts trying to coalesce it into something cohesive, I think that's when he kind of really starts to lose it because he doesn't want that. He enjoys the chaos and being able to do what he wants on his own.
Different goals. Yeah. All right, Sarah. What did you love most? What are you looking forward to?
Okay, well, it's not what I loved most, but I really got a kick out of the whole Rhydonium tumbler machine. I thought that was a trip and a half. It was a lot of fun trying to explain that to multiple people on threads this week. I was like, all right, let me break it down for you. It was a good time. I enjoyed it. I think what I liked most about the arc, we kind of talked about this earlier, was watching each one of the women come into their positions individually and equally powerfully. They've all been on a journey. Definitely Bix has been through the worst of it, but seeing each of them coming into their own power in their own way, and it's all going to kind of come to that, that peak, that pinnacle. It was very exciting to see the building blocks being laid. So that was excellent. I enjoyed all the nuances of that, good, bad, and ugly, all of them put together. Well, see, now you'll have me nervous that maybe Jason's intel wasn't very good. I was gonna say what I'm most looking forward to is K2SO. I'm mad. I have to wait more than half the season before I get to clap eyes on my little droid again. So, but I am ready. It better be next week, or you're just gonna be seeing very cranky Sarah next Friday. But
I won't be here, so we'll let you crank away.
I will have to. Can I want to add in mine. I also, what I loved a lot was them showing real relationships between people. I mean, the role playing kind of things, the little teasing and stuff with Bix and Cassian, and even Deidre, kind of turn out the lights.
Yeah,
I can't believe you had me followed.
Yeah, and he didn't
I
notice.
could almost see her as being a dominatrix.
Yeah,
He does, like, as much as his mother annoys him, it's the fact that Dedra is Dedra, that it's so appealing to him. It's like, oh, sure, you can be bossy. I'm used to that, but you're pretty. So,
right.
well, men marry their mom, right? Like that's kind of a
oh
thing.
my god.
Yeah, it's a little bit of that. There's a little truth to that.
Yeah.
No one likes to
Diego
admit
Luna
that.
was quoted as saying at Star Wars Celebrations interview, he said that it was really important to us through this whole series, this whole season, that these people are very real. He's like, this is like watching your neighbors, the people you live with, and you think back to Mina Rao, where they're having the harvest table, picnic table, and it's the everyday lives and the normalness of it. And ever since I heard him say that, I'm really picking up that, just like Barry said, that they look like real people, which is just going to make it all the harder when we lose them.
Not ready for this, kids.
Yeah.
I love everything about that, because with all the space wizards and whatever else and the chosen ones, whether it's Luke or Anakin or whoever else, there was always like a special factor to all these people. And then there's no one, like, air quotes, chosen special in this circle. Like Mon Mothma is probably the most privileged person, and she's like a political person. Everyone else is like fighting for what they have or need, coming from a place of like either middle class or lower income, or displaced, not really having a planet, adopted, this, that, whatever. Like, this is largely a rebellion of underdogs, Mon Mothma included, actually. Even though she comes from wealth, doesn't mean she actually has like the thing she wants. So yeah, I love that it feels very lived in. And yes, I recognize these characters across the board. My favorite thing from this week is all things Clea. I think, like, especially the party, I just keep coming back to her being the MVP of all of it across the whole series so far. I think MVP is Mon Mothma. Every scene she's in, Genevieve is just serving it, and the faster she walks, the angrier and the crazier she gets. She's walking at my speed now. Like, I'm a fast New York gay walker. Like, I'm like in a sprint. Like, she's at my level. I was like, oh, we can power walk together. We'll power walk this galaxy. And I'm most looking forward to seeing it all go down next week, because we should get the Gorman Massacre 2, along with Mon Mothma's speech. And I think it'll be Genevieve's Emmy clip. And certainly she'll win the Saturn Award or whatever stuff they give for sci-fi and stuff. But like, I'd love for the show to get properly acknowledged at the Emmys, and maybe even like Genevieve, considering how much heavy lifting she's doing for the show.
Sure. Yeah.
And this character. I'm here for the renaissance of Mon Mothma in every way. So I'm loving it.
Alan also, like, we're all caught up on Andor now, and he's caught up as well. He hated Brassos being killed.
Oh,
he was like, no.
well, that's the thing. Every death is killing us. Every death. There's no one who's died yet that I've been like, oh, well, that makes sense.
Fine.
Or
He's like, why couldn't it have been that useless kid? And then as it went on,
well, that's the point, right?
Will huff and gas with Saw. He was just like, seriously? This is what
Yeah.
Brasso died for?
So I didn't realize this. The base that Dakar, the base, is from The Force Awakens. Like,
Yeah.
that's the
Yes,
Force
same
Awakens face. I
base.
completely
I
I
am.
was like, "Oh, this looks so familiar," and I was looking at it, I was like, "Oh, that set looks familiar," and then they said the name, and I was like, "Oh my god, that's Force Awakens. This is how it's 10 years ago when I worked on that
Well, as soon as
product."
the
So,
name popped up, I realized I had been running around all over that planet as a little Lego Obi-Wan Kenobi in the Star
Yeah.
Wars Lego game on my Twitch.
Yep.
I loved Dakar. We like ran all around that place. We did all kinds of crazy like little speeder battle races and everything. And it was so weird seeing it in
Yeah.
live action. I was like, ugh. I just kept expecting to see like a little Lego character run by, I mean, it was bizarre because they did such a good job with the environments and the planets in that game. You feel like
Oh,
you're in
yeah.
it, other than the fact that
Oh,
little,
yeah.
brick pieces keep flying off of you. But that was weird. I was like, oh, Dakar, no way. Oh my God. Oh my God.
It's all connected.
Yeah.
Somebody was joking
It is.
last night that, when they come back and that body's still there or
Mm,
what's left of it.
yeah. That was
Decaying,
brutal
right? Yeah.
too. Sherry, you said last night that the watch along had a very
A little
exciting, awesome snafu. Please explain for the group because I
a
haven't
little
watched yet. I have
snafu.
to watch on repeat tomorrow when I have time.
So they started the episode, and Dave had not watched any of it yet, so it was new to him. And Spencer kept saying things, and I'm like typing in the comments, that hasn't happened till next episode. This isn't happening yet.
Spoilers.
It's-
Spencer
And I didn't
spoilers.
catch it at first because the first time he was talking about Cyril and Deidre and turn off the lights, but it was the same time as they were showing Cyril and Deidre when they were talking in that secret room, when he was in that secret room.
Oh,
They
and
went back.
she turned off the
So
windows.
as I thought,
yeah.
oh, he's just projecting. Spencer's just projecting ahead. But
It's
no,
tough because we watch all three at once. So it's like we're watching
Mhm.
one movie and we're just like the timeline is just completely blurred.
mhm.
Yeah.
And so I
You
kept
actually-
putting things in the comments. It's like, I think Spencer's on the wrong episode.
Sherry's the VCN story group. We're calling it now.
There we
You
go.
are. You're our Pablo.
She's our Pablo Hidalgo. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man.
So
This
he
might
had
have made
actually
you
started
a mod,
episode 5.
Sherry.
Yeah,
You're
Sherry.
single-handedly keeping the network afloat.
And well,
Single-handedly.
what made it especially funny is that when we did a watch along of the Firefly movie Serenity,
Oh my
and
god.
instead of pulling up the Serenity movie, one of the
Started the
episodes
series.
of
Oh,
Firefly
no.
is called Serenity. So he was
The pilot.
watching the
2-hour pilot.
Yes, and because it's like relatively similar in length, and it's mostly it's all the same characters, and in the grand scheme of things, you could be off by someone's like they're always walking around the ship, and so he would say things that were just like just enough off where I was like, what did he say? What? But it wasn't
Yeah.
enough. He wasn't like using the wrong character names or that like it was a different planet or different universe.
Oh,
It was
that
like,
was
oh,
fun.
Mal, whatever, and I'm like, oh, is he talking about something that comes up later? Maybe he just wanted to make a comment. He's always making a non sequitur. And
Yeah.
then midway through, I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about? And so like, Spencer, are you even watching the movie? He was watching the TV show. That was unreal. Dave and I were dying. Like, yeah.
But Spencer, we love you. We do
Yeah.
love you.
We do.
Yeah.
We
We
do.
just like to point out some little flaws now and then.
We got the VCN story group right here.
Yeah, exactly.
We're good.
Well, I'm looking at the time. We we just did a little over an hour and a half, and this is probably how late we'll go on a Friday because us ladies got to get to bed. I had a long
Right.
week, and I'm sure you guys did
Oh.
too. But
Yep.
oh my God, is it just starting? Because May the 4th is this Sunday, and while in
Mhm.
real life, many members of the VCN will be in Orlando at the lightsaber meetup. I know Jamie's going to be running
Jamie will be
things with the
there, yep.
Discord. There's a lot of stuff happening there. Good luck
Anthony, yep.
good luck to Jamie and AJ and everyone else from the
Mhm.
Discord with their event. I'm sure it's going to be
Mhm.
fantastic. And then on the West Coast side, over in Batu in Disneyland,
Mhm.
Jeff, Mike, John, and Corinne, along with other members, are all getting together, and they have tickets to the evening thing. Apparently, fireworks over Batu is a thing now.
Yeah.
So they're going to have a great
Wait.
time. But like
when you
everyone
have
around the network is doing stuff.
when you have fireworks at the castle, you can see it over the spires,
Yep.
like any night whenever they have fireworks. So that's why I love Disneyland as far as the fireworks show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
Really
making it a point to go because the last time I was there, I couldn't stay for fireworks. But those things are happening in real life. But if for some reason you can't make it to some type of actual May the 4th event and you're home all day on May the 4th, oh boy, do we have programming for you. And I don't have a graphic to put here, but I'll go very quickly through what we're doing. We have two new shows happening on Sunday. First off, we're doing many hosts from across our various shows to do a May the 4th special where we talk about everything we're excited about going on with Star Wars right now. And now that we just landed Celebration, like, what are we looking forward to in the future? So we're going to have people from across all of our different shows. I'll be there. It'll be me, Spencer, Sarah. Sherry is going to join us as well. We've got Mike Delicard from Jedi Archives, along with Bryce from Jedi Archives, JT from the Nerf Herders. Obviously, I'm representing Clone Wars, and Ashlee and Sarah represent Daughters of the Galaxy, and we'll have Spencer and Jeff. Dave has a commitment, so from the watch along. So all the shows are pretty much going to be there, and we're going to talk. Oh, and Gary O'Toole from Blob of the Hutt will be there as well. So we got a little bit of everyone on this event. So it'll probably be like an hour and a half recording. That'll be that'll be noon on Sunday, May the 4th, followed by at 2 p.m. A new episode of the Jedi Archives. They're doing their full recap of all things Celebration. So you'll get like a full recap of everything that happened, and all of them were there. So they're going to give like their, or actually 2 of them were there. It was Mike and John, and they're going to basically tell Bryce everything they did. And then after that, we've got a best of running all day. So if you're home and you want to sit in front of your computer screen, we picked a favorite episode or a relevant episode from every show we have on the network. So Daughters of the Galaxy, Clone Wars Revisited, Rebels Revisited. We've got the watch along for Andor, Ahsoka. We've got specials, celebrating autographs. Like, it's all in there. Jedi Archives, Unifying Force. All of the shows are represented on our basically best of day for May the 4th. And then we will have yet another playlist on Revenge of the 5th, where Sarah and JP and Ashlee and I are going to be watching the Tales of the Underworld as a new episode. And then all of our other dark side coverage is happening on Monday. So there's a lot going on. It's crazy right now.
It's going to be a good time.
It'll be fun time.
Yeah. So everyone, if you got nowhere to be, if you're home,
keep you company. Take it with you on your drive. Yeah,
exactly.
Have it in the background. Whatever.
Listen to us in the car. You know, turn us on while you're doing your weekend cleaning and stuff. I know I do that all the time. I just play the show while I'm dusting and whatever else. I've got action figures over here that are collecting dust. Yeah, exactly. But it'll be a lot of fun. So I'm very excited about our all hands special. I love those when we get everyone together. And then on when the Tales of the Bounty Hunters, Tales of the Underworld pops up, I'm excited to dive into these characters because Cad Bane and Asajj, oh man, that's a killer combo.
Asajj,
Get our girl back.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. All right, I think that's everything for this week. You guys have anything before we go?
I think we're
I think you hit it all. I think you got it. Yep.
Yeah. A lot going on for May the 4th. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. Oh, and tune in next week on Wednesday for a very special news desk about the event in Texas at Rebel Scum Con. So much more come. We'll be on with the Rebel Scum boys. So it's going to be a blast. We're looking forward. I'll be on with Spencer and Bobby in Kentucky and a few of the others talking all things Rebel Scum Con. So after we get through May the 4th, a lot of stuff. But thank you everyone for joining us tonight. Who wants to do our sign off?
Thank you.
F the Empire.
F the Empire.
I think the boys were doing it like this last time. F the Empire. All right.
Bye, guys.
Awesome. Thanks all. Good night. Bye.